Alright guys, we're getting ready to do some Pina Colada pineapple cream. I guess that's what you'd call it.
Yeah, that's basically, we're going to be using the Ole Smoky Pina Colada Moonshine pineapples. And as you can see, they're chopped up right here. We're not going to use this whole amount because we've got plans for half of it. And then we are going to be putting just a little bit of Pina Colada flavoring in there. Look over my fingers. They're red because I chopped cherries. We did cherry cream drop
earlier.
And they are the Ole Smoky Moonshine cherries. We did that, and that is actually over on my channel. If you want to check that out. It's Soaps in Suds in Such. But yeah, that's what we're going to be using in the way of alcohol. We've got our Skull shot glass ready, and I'll let him tell you the rest.
So, for the basic ingredients, we're going with the good old-fashioned sweetened condensed milk and powdered sugar.
And if you'll notice, I'm going to go ahead and throw something in. This is store brand powdered sugar, and I'm fine with that. I prefer the Eagle brand if I can get it. I just feel like it does a little bit different.
Now, this is your binding agent, basically your glue. It makes the powdered sugar stick together. Now, this can was full whenever we did the cherries, so as you can see, I didn't use very much. And really, the amount you use, as we said in the Mountain Java Ole Smoky Moonshine video, well, however much you want to make, that's going to be however much you put into the mixer. So we don't want to make a whole lot, so I'm not putting a whole lot of condensed milk in there. So we're going to put a little bit in there. We're going to add some powdered sugar. We're going to add in some our Pina Colada Moonshine, as well as the flavoring. Now the flavoring's really strong, so we got a little pipette to do a few drops because it's really strong. Yeah, and that'll just boost the flavoring. I like using the moonshine, but sometimes the moonshine is weak.
It's going to add a little bit of fragrance to it as well. It's going to smell more like Pina Colada, as well as have a little bit of a more taste to it. And since we are doing these a little bit wetter of a candy as far as the consistency, so that flavoring works really well in that. If you need me to hold it, I will. He's just putting in some of the condensed milk.
Just getting a nice little bit down in the bottom.
You tell me when. Is that it?
Yep.
There we go. Now I'll clean that off there.
Yep, we didn't use hardly any.
Yeah, right here.
As you can see.
That's about right, isn't it?
Yep.
Looks about right.
And that'll bind together our initial sugar. And we'll add in the moonshine. That'll make it more liquidy, and then we'll...
I figure when you put that on, you can
scrape that back in the can.
Oh, I can I? Okay, I'll do that.
And then we'll have to add more powdered sugar after the moonshine. So,
I'm gonna cover that up.
Really, as I always like to say, the moonshine dictates how much you'll make. You want to make a lot, put a lot of moonshine in there, or any other liquor. Don't want to make a lot, don't put a whole lot of liquor in there.
And if you don't want to make liquor candy, you don't have to use the liquor at all. You can just use pineapples. Cut it up. I cut those up into really small pieces.
So now we got to add in our powdered sugar.
Cover that up. Right there. Okay. You ready for... Okay. You tell me when low.
You gotta watch, it'll dump out the bottom end there.
Okay.
A little bit more.
That right there?
A little bit more. And alright, there we go. Now you might think, oh, that's too much, but remember, we're adding moonshine, people.
Oh yeah, and that's liquid.
So we put in our.
And if you don't have a nice KitchenAid to use, you can use a mixer or you can use your arm muscle to do this.
Cut it on low and let her start mixing.
Me and my son, we've been making candy for quite a number of years now, haven't we? I made candy back when they were babies.
See how it's clumping? It's slowly clumping together. You might think, oh, it's way too much sugar. Are you going to roll that out and cut it? It's got your mixer wanting to jump. Well, once we add that liquor in, it's not going to be nearly that thick no more.
Before we add the liquor, we'll add the
But see, that's a good consistency there. If you wanted to take in hand form, like say balls or patties by hand, that's a very good consistency for that. It's a nice thick.
Or roll them out. You just put out some powdered sugar, and you could actually put that in within some cling wrap, roll it up, and you could actually do it that way as well.
So I'm going to add in.
Well, yep. He's going to do the Pina Colada candy flavoring is what that is. And you can actually buy that at Walmart. Or you could order it, I'm sure, or pick it up from one of the cake or candy decorating stores. Okay.
Eight drops this time, so got a little bit more in there, but
I smell it.
And it's very,
oh my goodness,
it's got a very
so
good smell to it.
Pina Colada, people. That's exactly what that smells like.
I dropped it over there, as you can see, and so now we're just going to pop this bad boy down. And even though most of it's wrapped around the head, we are going to let it go.
Mix. And it'll continue to mix once he puts the liquor in there.
So now, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to beat this off of here.
Yeah, this is getting a lot different consistency than our cherry.
Don't worry, once you add the liquor, it'll...
Oh yeah, it'll change. Definitely. It smells so good.
Kind of reminds me of the tropical starbursts.
Oh, yeah, it's very much smelling tropical in here. But, you know, even, I don't know if you showed it on this jar here, right there. It says Pina Colada. See there?
And these are low alcohol per volume compared to the cherries. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Okay.
Whenever you're doing your calculations on this kind of stuff. So now we're going to do the pour.
Okay.
So now if you're pouring, if you're pouring something like this, you know, we got pieces in here. You don't want to just tip it over. You're going to get the chunks in there. So what I like to do is grab it and see there's a gap there. And what I'll do is I'll just take and
you could very well use a sieve or strainer for that as well. But oh yeah, looky there, looky there.
and see we're right around eyeball level.
We're at the eyeball of the skull.
With very little mess. There's a tiny bit there, but not much.
That's not going to matter because we are going to put in the pineapple.
Now, what I like to do is I like to cut the mixer on, and if you've seen the other videos, you'll know why. So people can hear the difference of the wetness of the filling once you add the alcohol in. Just so that way you can just see how the impact.
Well, and as some people like to call it, a little bit of ASMR, satisfying sounds.
So I'm going to cut this on.
You tell me when.
And as you can see, very liquidy. What does that mean? Gotta add more sugar. And what's that gonna do? That's gonna make more candy. So I'm gonna there we go. Get that on the other side. You can see the dripping.
You ready? You tell me when.
That's good. And we'll slowly add in more till we get to where we want it. We want it a little bit gooey, but not that gooey.
Not liquid.
And as you can see, it does cake up on the sides, and we'll take either the knife or the squeegee and push it back down into the main pile there. But you can see how it's whipping it. You can see how it's moving. So we're going to want it a little bit thicker than that, but we've got a lot of sugar on the rim, so I don't want to add any sugar yet. I want to get that sugar into the mix, just in case there's enough sugar in there, not in play, to get it where we want it.
You want me to do it, or you going to do it?
Yeah, if you want to do it, and I'll video you. Because she uses the squeegee. I use a knife, and she uses that squeegee there.
That look pretty good?
There's a chunk over there I can see on the camera. Yep, there you go. Alright, looks like you got most of it. And boy, does it smell.
Yep, it smells.
And it's not a bad smell.
No.
It's not a repulsive smell.
It's just like a pina. If you've ever had a pina colada, that's what it smells like. It makes you want to pull out the little umbrellas. Little umbrellas and a cherry and some fruit on top. And it's got that smell. Where you want to be on a beach somewhere. Tropical. Okay, there you go.
So now we're going to go back down in there and get the mixing. Look how it just flows.
Look at that pattern. It's beautiful. Okay, let's see what we got here.
So see, it's still a little runny, but we've got to add our pineapple.
Yeah.
And then I want to add a little bit more sugar, but I don't want to add the sugar. I want to add the pineapple first.
Okay, you're going to hold the camera. I guess I can add the pineapple.
Or I can add the pineapple. It doesn't matter to me.
I guess I can do it. Okay, ready? I kind of know how much I want to put.
And are you going to let the liquid go in there?
Let the liquid go in there. Let's see. I think that's about.
Yep, that's a little over half.
That's about what I want to put. There you go.
Alright. And so now we'll put a little bit of sugar on top of that. Not much, but a little bit.
About like that?
Yep, about like that. That ought to be good. Just to see where it stands after we get it all mixed up. Yep. You can just hear the liquid in there. So we got it mixed in there pretty well. As you can see, it's clumping off of our mixer. It's still a little more runny than I want.
Yeah, it is.
So we're going to add a little bit more sugar.
Let's see.
That's good. And we'll see where that lands us. Because we're still wanting it to be a little runny, so we're trying not to add too much. So it's still liquidy.
Yeah, it's still bit much.
So we're going to have to add even more sugar.
Yeah,
You see,
not quite where I want it.
you see that the liquor really dictates how much you make.
And different liquor works different. I know some people might think that's not true, but it is. It is.
It should start
Yeah, that may
thickening up now.
That may get it where we want it.
Well, what you think?
Still a little bit, but it's closer than it was.
And it
way
may,
closer than it was.
Yep, and it may be a case of just adding a little teensy bit more of the sweetened condensed milk.
Which do you want to do?
So we can do either one.
What you think? You want a little bit of the condensed milk?
Yeah, we can do that. It'll in terms of making candy, it won't. We won't have to be making a whole lot more.
Okay, you tell me when now.
That's good. That should help. You may not immediately notice it, but the moment we add any more sugar in,
Think we need a little more sugar?
yeah, but we got some sugar on the walls we need to get down in there too.
You want to put a little bit more in there?
Yeah. That's good.
Let me scrape.
See how it's not coming off as quick?
Yeah. That looks more right, don't it?
Yeah. Alright, let me. There we go. If you want a scraper.
I can't see over there, so you'll have to just.
Yep, that looks pretty good. And then we'll add a little bit more sugar to it.
And that'll possibly have it.
Yep.
Okay. A little bit more sugar. Okay, you tell me when.
Alright. That ought to be good. There. Alright. And we'll... whenever I'm doing it, I'm trying to spread it out into the actual filling and not on the sides.
Yeah. Yeah, because it tends to throw it. And you just go full force.
What you think?
Yeah, I think that's it, don't you? That looks like I could either use a spoon to do it, or I could use a butter knife, either one. However,
Well, you got your knife there. Take your...
what do you think?
Do you think it needs any more?
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit on the sides in there, too.
Well, we'll put one more in it first. Tell me. Is that enough?
There you go. Well, that ought to thicken it up pretty good. This is one of those things where, you know, we don't really have a recipe, you know. We tell you the basics of what we use, and then we show you how we do it, you know.
Yeah, it's basically self-taught, honestly. I've always been really creative, and my kids seem to be too.
And so hopefully, you know, maybe you can take from it, and if you can make you a recipe, that'd be good, you know, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So see now that you can tell that's thickened up some.
Yeah, I think that's it. Looks pretty good. And I should have mentioned in the other videos, sometimes the weather can also dictate, believe it or not, how your candy turns out, even this type of candy. And fudge for sure. If it's raining, oh my goodness. Yeah. You want me to scrape the sides?
Yep, and then we can get that mixed in and it'll be good to go.
That look about right?
Yeah. I mean, once you stick it in the freezer, it's going to harden up some. And the reason why it's flowing so quick isn't because it's so thin. It's because, you gotta remember, there's chunks in there that are pulling off of... gravity's pulling off of the actual mixer. Because as you can see, it's not really coming off of the mixer that quick whenever there's no chunks. So, I mean, I think that's pretty good.
Looks pretty good to me. So you want to pause and bring them back when we get to the next stage?
You gonna do your taste test of the filling?
I will get... Mama actually taste tested the pineapple. Yum. It's a pina colada. Oh my goodness. Wow. Pina colada, people. Did you try it?
Not yet, I'm getting ready to. Got it right there. Yeah. Yeah, got a fruity taste to it.
Yeah, it's very tropical. Oh yeah.
And it's got a sugar taste to it as well.
Okay, now we're actually using a chocolate melter here, and this will melt down the chocolate. This is white, as you can see.
Yep.
So of course, as we've told you in the previous video, we got on the lower setting.
Yep, and you've seen our molds before.
Oh yeah.
And if you've not,
right there.
We showed that off in the previous video, how you can do highlights with certain molds. You can check out the Ole Smoky Mountain Java. That is the long form video, not the short. And you can see where we did that in detail with those molds.
Actually, we used color as well.
Yep.
Nice and festive for the holidays. Green and red.
Now, as you can see, she's stirring this chocolate to try to get the chips that are on top down towards the heat, to try to get them to all melt.
It's a very slow process, so I guess we can bring them back after I melt it. Okay, I've got it melted. Here's my mold. I'm only using the round, and I'm going to show you. I'll get it up on there like that. I'm just going to do a thin covering. Now, this white chocolate works a little bit differently than your milk chocolate or even your dark chocolate.
Yep, they all kind of work their own way.
They do, and one will spread better than the other. So you just want to kind of look at it, kind of get a little thin. You don't want it really thick. Try to get all your cracks, if at all possible. And
we give you tips on the coconut oil and the beeswax and the Ole Smoky Mountain Java cream liqueur video. So if you want to learn about that, you can go and watch that video.
Yeah.
But once she's got that done, this will go in the freezer. We'll let that chocolate solidify, and then we'll bring you back with a nice chilled chocolate shell.
I'll show you the next step. Okay, they're out of the freezer.
They're chilled.
They're chilled, look. See there? Couldn't do that before. Now, I've got my mix here. You could use a spoon, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to put it down in the center. I don't want them to be heaped, because I want them to go, the chocolate to go on them really pretty whenever I put that top on there, and be able to adhere to the other chocolate, the cold chocolate. So look at that, how pretty that turned out. So do another one. So you're basically just filling them as full as you want to. And you can take them to the top if you want to.
Yep, the square ones, we're not doing those because it's a lot more to fill them in. And sometimes you may want to do them because you may have a lot.
Yeah.
But think of it like this. If you've ever eaten a candy bar and you went, man, that's really rich. You got to, whenever you're making stuff like this, you got to think about that kind of stuff. A little bite like this is about 2 of those squares in terms of the filling. So not only is it the possibility of it being double sweetness, but you're going to have probably double the alcohol content in there as well. Yeah. So that's something to think about. But if you've got a load of filling and a load of chocolate, and you wanna get rid of it quicker, you can use the squares on these molds because they're bigger and you can get it done quicker.
I do use them for different types of candy also. So there we go. Now this is going to go into the freezer. I'll just set my mold in there and then we'll bring you back. Okay, we're out of the freezer and now I'm going to start covering. I've got my white chocolate here and I just kind of just like put some on there. You want to make sure that the hot or warm chocolate meets the cold chocolate so it adheres together, basically. There we go. Motion going there. Look at there. Ain't that pretty? Okay. Okay. I'll finish these and I'll put these in the freezer. We'll bring you back and pop one out and show you what we got. Okay, they're out of the freezer. See here? And they have set up. Now, in these molds, we like to pull it like that. They can go flying across the room, so you have to be careful of that. Just try and loosen it up. Okay. Look at there. Perfect. It's got a little place there, but it's not all the way through. That's perfect. Don't see any leaking, which is a good thing. And if you do see leaking, you can fix it. I actually show that in the cherry drop, cream cherry drop video, which is on my channel. There we go. Perfect. They look good, don't they? Okay, there's one. Well, no, that's chocolate. See that? If you sometimes it gets in there. That one there, I'll have to put that aside. There we go. There they are. So, okay, there they are. That's what we've got for you. If you enjoy the videos, do give them a thumbs up. Please do subscribe. Check out my channel, that's Soaps and Suds and Such, for other videos that goes along with this. And let's see. Do check out the Java, Moonshine Java, that we did the video on that as well. Do you have anything you want to add? Well, I guess we'll end it there.